Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man X2. Mega Man X2 is obviously the follow-up to Mega Man X1. And just like Mega Man X1, starting the game off, we are thrown right into the action. Oh no, green biker dude! We never find out who that guy is or what he was doing. Whatever. Anywho, new things to X2. You start with the dash right away, so no messing around having to get it with a leg upgrade. So that's always nice. Also, this might just be me, but I swear that the X-Buster charges up faster in this game. But, like I said, that's probably just me. So yeah, Mega Man X2. This game didn't really introduce too much to the series mechanics-wise, but it did introduce a few things that sort of became mainstays in the series. Off the top of my head, and I'll probably just have to list them as I go since I'm not that good at remembering things. Some of the more important things that it introduced is that it introduced like more complex secrets. It takes a bit more effort to find the upgrade items in this game. Well, that's the most pertinent one I can think of off the top of my head. Heading into the boss area of this intro stage, which is much shorter than X1's. We are given this boss who's really huge, but is really not that tough. 4 charge shots take him down. In fact, to be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever actually been hit by an attack that he did. Usually the only damage I take is going through his arm just to get some shots at his head real quick. Yeah, real easy first boss, real easy first stage. On the whole, X2 is pretty easy once you know what to do. Is it easier than X1? Nah, I'd say it's a little bit harder, but it's still a fairly easy game. Now, here we see some shady looking dudes talking about Mega Man X. I don't know why I said Mega Man X so awkward there. But yeah, this is another thing about X2, is that it's a bit more story driven. I only mean a little bit more. It has a few more cutscenes, not just like one cutscene at the beginning and then a couple at the end. After you complete stages, you'll eventually see some cutscenes. And here we've got some guys discussing something that they're constructing and trying to find the parts for. But evidently, Mega Man has part of the thing that they need for it. Now here we have our Mavericks. We have Wire Sponge. We have Moth. We have Flame Stag. We have Magna Centipede. We have Crystal Snail. Wheel Gator, who we'll be starting off with. Bubble Crab over here. Doesn't sound very threatening, but he's one of the tougher ones. And Overdrive Ostrich. Like I said, we'll be starting with Wheel Gator. The reason I choose to start with Wheel Gator is that A, he's the easiest Maverick in this game by far, and C, or did I just say C? I meant to say B, is that his weapon that we get for beating him is easily one of the most useful in the game. Not really because it's powerful or it's handy in killing enemies, but because it allows us to get a good bulk of the secrets this game has to offer. I wish there were better reasons for getting it, but nope, the only reason to get it is because it allows you to get a lot more secrets in one go rather than having to go back through the levels twice. Yeah, to be honest with you, the weapons in Mega Man X2 are not very useful. You're better off just sticking with the X-Buster. Usually I only use them when the game forces me to use them to get a secret. Otherwise, they're just really not worth it. Ride armors make a reappearance in this game. Fairly handy in certain situations. I don't usually use them, but, well, I don't usually use them because you don't see them very often. They just seem to throw these in there. In fact, in Mega Man X5, you only see them once, and it's totally just tacked on for no reason. But we'll talk about that when we get to that game. Anywho, here's something that got introduced in X2, unfortunately, that got used very irritatingly often in X3. Elevator sections where there isn't really any control you have over this. You just have to wait for the game to take you to where you need to go. Also got hit very cheap by that shield throwing guy at the start there. A little upset about that. I was doing so good up until this point. If you follow that elevator all the way up, you get an extra life, but not really worth it. Or rather, I just don't need it. So as you can see, Wheel Gator, along with being a relatively easy boss, has a fairly easy stage. Actually not a bad place to farm sub-tank energy once you get them, since you can kill these infinitely spawning birds for energy. Unlike X1, there isn't really a good place to just farm up energy for your sub-tanks at the end, so it's nice when you can find places like this to get energy for them. Recharge real quick. And I missed that charge buster shot, and this guy ended up getting a hit on me. Which kind of sucked, but oh well. Had a little energy back. And relatively short stage, we're already at Wheel Gator. It's nice having the dash from the get-go. Here we go with Wheel Gator. This guy is really pathetic. So, here's how this fight works. You wall kick, he throws a saw at you, and you jump over it. You wall kick, he comes out of the water, and then this is the best part. You stand right in front of him as he throws saws over your head and shoot him in the face. Now, occasionally he'll vary up this pattern, but this is almost always what he does. It's kind of hilarious, really. This is what makes him the easiest, because he always repeats this useless pattern. He actually does have one attack that managed to throw me for a loop once, where he'll shoot lasers out of his mouth. It's random when he does this, and it actually caught me off guard, but it didn't happen in this attempt at the stage. This is his other attack, where he'll turn into a drill and crack the wall. I'm not exactly sure if anything happens if you touch the cracks on the walls. Wheel Gator had a very nice spot of good luck there, and actually managed to land a hit on me, but that was the only one he got. So yes, Wheel Gator is probably one of the better starting Mavericks. The other recommendable starting Maverick will be the one we're taking on after this guy. But for defeating Wheel Gator, the main reason I came to this stage first. This is the spin wheel. It allows you to break through certain walls, which usually house secrets. That's the only reason I came here first. The other good place to start would be Wire Sponge's stage, since this is the only stage in the game that doesn't require any sort of power to get the other secrets. So yeah, just some easy secrets, like right here, Heart Tank. Already got some upgraded health. I suppose Wire Sponge's stage would have been the better starting choice, since, just to spoil it right now, something happens after you beat 2 Mavericks, and it can kind of affect what you want to do, but it isn't really critical. But yeah, Wire Sponge would also be a good starting Maverick, since he gives you a couple of upgrades that are really easy to get, to be honest with you. Another one is can be found while kicking up here, as well as an extra life, but we'll be seeing the other secret that we can get momentarily. Wire Sponge is also notable as being one of the easiest Mavericks in the game, too. There's a sub-tank for us, so already got a health upgrade and a sub-tank, so we're going into this pretty strong. Note that this is probably the easiest time I'm going to have getting the secrets in this game. Some of them are very annoyingly hidden, and some of them are just a huge pain in the ass to get. There's one hard upgrade in Crystal Snail's stage that is a total nightmare to try and get. Now, here's a Wire Sponge's stage gimmick, which I'm not exactly sure how it relates to him, but whatever. Wire Sponge, of course, has weather changing in his level. The rain generates a wind effect that knocks you backward, and it's really annoying, to be frank with you, because if you don't do a dash jump right, it's very improbable you won't be able to make a jump, and you will get blown into the spikes. The other effect is when it gets really sunny, and these lasers that you're seeing right now pop out of the ground and can use the solar power to charge up. They can actually fire for quite a bit of a ways. I actually had one of them far off screen and I had it fire at me. So be careful about that. Coming up here is one of my most hated enemies, these stupid scorpions. All they do is soak up damage and get in your way. And they're a pain in the ass to jump over, so I usually just slow down and kill them. On top of that, they have some annoying to dodge attacks. Mostly this only comes into play if you have to face them on the same level. Luckily there I could just jump up and pop them in the face a few times. But here's the other easiest Maverick, and is usually the butt of many jokes when it comes to this game. This is Wire Sponge. Wire Sponge is notable in that the little tendrils that he shoots out and are completely motionless are probably more dangerous than Wire Sponge himself. Basically, if you don't kill them as soon as you can, they can clutter up the stage and can make it very hard to dodge anything without taking a hit. And those little tendrils actually hurt a little bit, so you need to be wise in trying to take them out as soon as possible. I'm doing pretty good here, but eventually I get careless and get hit a couple times. Really, all Wire Sponge likes to do is waste your time, because as you can see, you cannot shoot through that spinning whip when he does it. Which is thoroughly annoying, and that was a really bad move on my part. I got hit by that tendril twice. If you're really quick, yeah, you can hit him twice when he goes to do that spin whip attack. You can, if you're very quick, you can hit him in between spins, but it's not easy to pull off. When he's charging up the lightning, don't try to shoot him because it just won't do anything and you'll waste your charge shot. Also, I've never been hit by that lightning. It always fires in the same exact way, so just don't stand where it fires. Again, this is really another thing that Wire Sponge does just to waste your time, which makes him one of the more annoying bosses in that regard, not because he's relatively difficult. If you kill him with his weakness that you get for beating Overdrive Ostrich, you actually get a nice little effect of him getting split in half. I say nice like it really makes a bit of difference, but it doesn't. Anyway, that's Wire Sponge. Another easy Maverick. And for beating him, you get one of the more useless weapons, the Strike Chain. You can use it to get a few items, and it's needed for one of the secrets, but save for one situation, it's completely useless. And here we have those mysterious guys again. They think X is quite the threat. Looks like they're going in to take care of business now. Now here we see Dr. Kane. If you read the backstory of Mega Man X1, you'll see that Dr. Kane actually plays a part, but he wasn't really a big character in that game. But he is a much more much more prominent figure in the story of this game. Now we find out that that mysterious group is the X Hunters, and they must have been really proud of themselves when they thought up that name, I'm betting. And they say they have the parts of Zero, and if we can beat them, they'll give us the parts. And since we have Zero's control chip, we can rebuild the poor bastard. So he's not dead, but we'll save that for next time. So until then, see ya.